There are things that I appreciate about it and have appreciated about it from the beginning. But if I'm being so honest, there really are so many downsides. I'm trying so hard not to get like super upset while sharing this, but if I'm being honest, my mental health since I've started this has just slowly like been on such a decline. And I would say that it started maybe like honestly probably 7 months ago, where about like maybe 6 months into doing this, about 6 months, I started to get super burnt out. And while I did have such a strong start and it was so much fun in the beginning, after getting burnt out, I started to just feel really differently about like the types of messages that I was getting, and just feeling like sort of the effort that I was putting in to it still wasn't. I guess I'm trying to say there's no amount of money really that you can give me at this point, and I'm like willing to admit this now. There's no amount of money that you can give me right now to like make me feel like giving myself away in certain aspects, even if they're just a few photos or whatever online. It almost isn't worth it anymore. It's hard to describe this because I realize that when I have spoken about OF, that it's typically been in a light where it's like it's fun, it's art, you make money, blah blah blah. But if I'm being so honest, that really is like the only upside to doing it. Like just the ability to very quickly make extra cash. But I think again, like just over the course of a few months, of like half a year or so, just going really hard at it, I think I didn't let a lot of like the messages get to me, but I was lying to myself, and I definitely think that it's like really worn on me over time. And it's not to say that I don't have like really good guys on there following me and like monetarily supporting me, even like checking in on me at times where I like, earlier this year I definitely disappeared for a few months, even on here. But even with that, like just realizing that even those people are not people that I would call when I'm having a really hard day just makes it feel just so fake. And I'm not sitting here saying that like I ever got on there to make friends. Let's be honest, it's really just to make money from a bunch of horny men. But I guess I'm just trying to say that just know that if you are a person who's ever been interested in doing this, or if you've like ever been curious about it, there really is just like such a like I feel a little bit dead inside. I feel completely desensitized, and I don't know, like not to sound funny, but I really don't feel any type of like desire or like attraction to men in general anymore. And that's also because of my personal collective experiences that I've had with like dating like the wrong types of men and things like that. But I think with this line of work, men, you will never catch a man being more honest and more authentic and more real, and not necessarily in a good way, than they are, and the way that they present themselves to girls who do stuff that I do. I can't even imagine what it's actually like for real life SWs. Like, I'm sure it's like 50,000 times worse for them. Like, at least to a certain extent, there's like a level of protection for me, just given that I'm like behind a screen, right? Like, I'm never actually gonna like see these guys in person or anything like that. But like seriously, if I had any type of ability to share like the things that people have said, like the things that people have like the nerve to like DM me with, just like how disgusting they are. And also, I can't even count to you how many times the ones who follow me on Instagram, like when I get curious and nosy sometimes, like I'll go look at their profile and they have like a whole girlfriend or a whole wife, and sometimes even disgustingly enough they have kids. Sometimes it makes me feel so conflicted with doing this, and a part of me just feels so prideful. Like I feel like yes, it's been a year, not like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, but I do still feel like I'm still so deep in it. And I think I'm just being prideful, but I just feel like, and I just don't want to quit because I'm just not a quitter. Like I always see things like to the very end, and I really I won't quit until I'm physically stopped. This being like my one creative outlet to like or so I thought, to like express myself and like produce this work that like, you know, I'm really proud of. I do take a lot of time to go like rent these spaces and like get like certain types of outfits and like our lingerie really, and like do these shoots and like post them, and like editing is like a whole process, and like there are lots of parts that I enjoy, but I think what ruins it is like when I really sit down to think about like ultimately like what the purpose of all this is, and it's really just to visually please a bunch of men who, again, a lot of them are disgusting. I've been sort of exploring the idea of maybe just having my content be focused on, you know, things that I'm actually interested in, which ultimately is not pleasing men in any way, shape, or form. Like, y'all can keep your money at this point. I don't know what I'm going to do. But anyways, if you made it this long, thanks for listening.
Okay, holy sugar and spice, that was long, but let's get into it. Finally, I made videos about OnlyFans back a couple of years ago when it got really popular during the pandemic and all of that, and there were so many girls signing up for it. I don't think that women thought necessarily about the true long-term consequences that this type of content can create. I feel for her in this video, so I say all of this with grace and empathy. I'm not here to hate on her or make her feel bad. We're not hating on this lady here, okay? That's not the point of this video. Please be kind down in the comments, okay? But as sad as it is to see someone have a bad experience and their mental health be negatively impacted by something, I think it's refreshing to see a woman finally speaking out about their bad experiences and the negatives in general, because it is abundantly clear the negatives outweigh the positives by a landslide for many people who participate. And I applaud people who can be honest and transparent about their experiences, and I believe it's important and crucial for young women and men to hear this message and understand, and really understand, the long-term consequences that our actions can have. Not to mention the negative effects of porn in general, which I'm saving for a completely different video. But I really wanted to further discuss some points that she made that stood out to me specifically that I think we can pull some nuggets of wisdom from. So the first thing being, you are what you attract. You know, I make content for men. I shouldn't be surprised when 95% of my audience is men and most of the messages I get are from men, right? She mentioned, I started to feel really differently about the types of messages I was getting. And again, I think that leads me back to the point of you are what you attract, and what you put out into the world is what you are going to attract back to you. And once she was burnt out, she felt differently about the messages she was receiving, because she probably got to a point where she didn't feel good about what she was putting out there, clearly, right? And what you're attracting ultimately reflects back to you. If you're attracting the wrong type of people, if your inbox is flooded with men trying to purchase a service from you or purchase nudes from you, it's probably not going to be a pretty sight, especially when you start something and you start it because it is art to you. You start it because you've been sold a lie that it's empowering, that it's a form of art, and you know, it's going to be all sunshine and rainbows. But then as you do it, you realize that that is not the case, and you're actually just providing a service. It's not empowering. You're providing a service to, you know, horny men, as she said in her own words. And I think once that clicked for her, as it does, I'm sure, for a lot of women who do this, it's a lot less empowering. And the messages you're receiving start to look a lot different. And next, I want to talk about the reality. So she said that the only upside, again, her exact words, the only upside was the ability to quickly make money. And it seems like she was very successful in her time that she spent doing this and probably made a lot of money. But I think a lot of girls went into this industry and started posting this type of content because they were told by girls who were making a lot of money, hey, you can make a ton of money doing this. But I don't think that's the reality for most of the girls that were doing it, unless you're in the top, whatever, you know, tiny percentage. Those are the girls who are making a ton of money. It's not just some random person posting nudes on the internet, you know, making $50,000 a month, right? It takes a long time to build up to that. And a lot of women, I'm sure, put a ton of time and effort and energy into their content and still never get to a point where it's worth it or makes sense to them, right? Like, I think that's why a lot of girls did it initially. From the outside looking in, it seems like easy money. You snap a picture of your butt, you post it online, you make some dollars from the men who are following you, and that's all it is. But I think in order to get to a point where you're making the amount that these girls want to make, you actually do have to put a lot more time and effort and energy into what you're doing. She even mentioned she would rent out spaces, she would buy all these outfits. But I think mentally, it is not as easy as people make it seem, because, again, you're being sold a lie and you think you're doing one thing when in reality, you're doing another. She said, in her own words, "There's no amount of money you can give me at this point to make me feel like giving myself away in certain aspects, even if they're just a few photos online. It almost isn't worth it anymore." And she was kind of all over the place in her way of delivering it because she was upset, obviously. But really what she's saying is there's no amount of money that feels worth it for me. She also said that she was lying to herself about how this was truly affecting her. And she also mentioned something that I thought was really interesting where, men would reach out to her and ask her how she was, but they were never men or people that she would want to call in real life. The entire point is to make money from a bunch of horny men, as she stated. And that's exactly what it is. It's not empowering and it's not glamorous. You're providing a service and you think the service you're providing is disgusting because you're disgusted by the messages that you're getting. But you can't be surprised when you get that type of response when that's the type of content that you're putting out, right? I think there's a lot that can be learned here from a male point of view as well if you're a man watching this. If you're someone who consumes this type of content or watches porn, first of all, these girls think that you're disgusting. They would never want anything to do with you in real life. I'm sorry if that's harsh, but it's the truth. She said it herself. And it's really just horrible for everyone involved. It's not good for the person consuming the content, and it's not good for the creator making the content. She said, "I feel a little bit dead inside. I feel completely desensitized. I don't feel any desire or attraction to men anymore. The purpose is to visually please a bunch of men who are disgusting." Let's just take a moment to really think about all of that. Let that sink in. Whether you're someone who makes that type of content or has thought about making that type of content or someone who consumes it, it's really not looking good from either direction. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you're going to do what you're going to do. I'm not participating and I'm sitting over here happy and healthy. But I think it's important to talk about these things and to just shed light on the negatives. And there were so many women who commented on her video saying that they felt the same exact way and that's why they quit too. And it was just encouraging and refreshing to see women, being kind to her and agreeing with her, because a couple of years ago, if you said anything about OnlyFans, if you said anything about porn, people acted like you were a nun. People acted like you were a prude and you were just the worst person on earth. Like when I posted a video a couple years ago about OnlyFans, I had women DMing me on Instagram death threats, saying horrible things to me because I said that I didn't agree with OnlyFans and I think it's harmful to young women. Did I care? No, I said it anyway because it's my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But I think it's important to speak out about topics and go against the mainstream sometimes. Privacy and your reputation is something that you can never get back. And I think a lot of women posted this type of content thinking, oh, I'll just do it, see how it goes, and then if I want to quit, I can quit. But they don't realize that you can never get your privacy back. You can never get your reputation back. If it doesn't work out for you and you go to get a real job that's on your record, they can find your nudes online. You want your boss looking at your nudes? I sure wouldn't. I mean, what you put out into the world stays there forever. The internet is forever. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. And the last point that I wanted to take from all this, that's a little bit different than most videos I think that cover these type of topics, is the topic of quitting versus evolving. Because she made a point at the end that could resonate with a lot of you and could apply to many different aspects of life, not just OnlyFans, not just, spicy content. Realization is not quitting. Growing and evolving is not quitting. Sometimes evolving to the next stage of your life and really growing as an individual and discovering who you are includes leaving things and people behind, and that's okay. It doesn't make you a quitter. It means that you're growing, and it means that you're moving on. And I'll be totally honest, even I resonated with this point a little bit because I've had this feeling with some of my own content. As I've grown and evolved, there are things that just no longer serve me. There are things that I don't feel good about posting. You know, I loved doing the girl videos and having conversations with women. I really did not have bad intentions doing that. But what I didn't love was the response that it created online and the way that that made me feel. You know, when I saw other channels reacting to the content and the things that were being said in the comment section, I just didn't feel good about putting that type of content out into the world, even if it wasn't my intention to create that reaction. And again, that goes back to you are what you attract. And I didn't want to be attracting that type of viewer to my video where we're just hating on people and we're blaming people and we're pointing fingers. I think it's important to highlight problems and issues and hold people accountable, but I think there's a graceful way to do that. And that's something that I'm navigating as I post content online. But really, the reality is that it's okay to stop doing things that don't align with your values. And if that means losing money or losing views, then so be it. True success is being at peace with yourself and what you are bringing to the world. And I've learned that as I've gotten older, and I hope that that's something that all of you guys, are able to discover for yourself too. I think our society defines success in such a shallow way. It's all about money, it's all about clout, it's all about having designer things. And as I get older and I have those things, I just realize that they really do not bring you joy. It's great to not be paycheck to paycheck and be able to pay your bills and be comfortable, but that's really the extent of it. And again, I think true success is being at peace with yourself and what you are bringing and contributing to the world. And, even something like OnlyFans, if that's, something that you don't feel is aligning with your values anymore or bringing you that peace, then stop doing it. It's not being a quitter. It's evolving and it's growing. So I know I kind of flipped this video upside down and took it away that most people don't normally go with content like this. But I think it's important when people are transparent and honest that we listen to them and then reflect on our own lives and the areas where we could improve as well. I don't think we get anywhere by being hateful and bitter or saying horrific things, vitriolic things about people in comment sections that we don't know. So again, no hate towards this girl. I think it's great that people are speaking out about it. I just think we need some more positive role models in our life, so I'm happy to share a refreshing message with all of you. So if you like this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys over on there as well. If you have any content you want me to react to, whether it's a YouTube video, TikTok video, you can tag me in the comment sections, you can DM me, email me, whatever floats your boat, whatever's easiest. I just really enjoy reacting to the content that you guys want to see and the content that you guys send my way. Also, I would love to hear your opinions down in the comments.
That's better.
Nice teamwork.
Just in time. Just a little something. Think nothing of it. You're the best.
You go. Quickly moving on to you are going to be sent for the two so first overlap. Fleet 20 are running on basically all your support characters because of that. Do you want to go for your team? Overlap, continuously use your abilities, farm skill points with their auto attack ability, etc. As for the set here, for the spheres, I would recommend going with Fleet of the Ageless. You're increasing your max HP by 12%, and whenever the wearer's speed reaches 120 or higher, all allies' attack increases by 8%. This is what you're mostly going to be running on basically all your support characters because of that attack increase, and it stacks as well. So you can run on multiple characters in the same team comp and generate more attack percent for your damage dealer. This is part of the reason why I recommended you could either run speed or HP for Natasha because you want to at least hit that 120 threshold. But for the substats, I would recommend HP as one of the first substats. That's the priority. Again, effect resistance, so you're able to negate those debuffs as a second priority. Third, speed, if if you're able to get that speed up there for the 2-piece effect of Fleet of the Ageless. And then 4 would be defense percent. So you have HP percent. The main stat for your sphere is going to be HP percent. And then for the rope, this is the only way you're able to get energy regeneration rate. This is the only main stat you're able to find it. So I would recommend running energy regeneration rate. You're going to find this on most of your support characters, basically, so you can keep getting your ult continuously. Currently, I'm running it on Japard, but you would also want to run it on Natasha just to make sure you get that back. All right, let's quickly hop over and finish up with Eidolons here. So we have her E1 after being attacked. If the HP percent, this is a pretty good Eidolon to get because basically when Natasha's on the brink of death, she'll bring herself back. So what it reads is, after being attacked, if the current HP percent is 30% or lower, she will heal herself for 1 time to restore HP equal to amount 15% of her max HP. This effect can only be triggered 1 time per battle, technically like a second life, you know, when she's about to die. And then you can save your E ability and your ult for like a different character. Her E2, however, whenever Natasha uses her ultimate, grants continuous healing for 1 turn to allies whose HP is at 30% or lower. So this is a very good Eidolon to pick up if you did end up getting lucky. And at the beginning of their turn, their HP is restored by an amount equal to 6% of Natasha's HP plus 160. So I think 1 and 2 are probably the best Eidolons here. Now, if we are getting a little bit into meme territory here, this one's also not bad. After being attacked, she'll regenerate 5 energy.
Okay, guys. Now, I really any buff by be it increases her energy regeneration for her because you're Tasha, guys. Me personally, guys, I have an S4 post-op, and I'm running that. I think post-op is probably her second best in slot, only coming second to the 5-star light cone, which we'll talk about after this. But I genuinely think that post-op is a really good light cone for her. It increases her energy regeneration rate. It's also going to be increasing her outgoing healing whenever she uses her ultimate, guys. This is just so huge for her because your main burst of healing is going to be coming from the ultimate anyways. You're really just going to be using this skill to remove debuffs on your allies, and also that energy regeneration rate just comes so much in clutch as well. That means you can get her ultimate back up that much quicker, and that means you're able to heal your team a lot faster as well, guys. If you want to talk about her best 5-star light cone, it's actually going to be Bailu's 5-star light cone, guys. Time waits for no one. What this does, guys, is going to be increasing Natasha's max HP and outgoing healing, guys. Also, is going to record the amount of outgoing healing that they have, and when an ally launches an attack, it'll basically be dealing additional damage to an enemy. So this does have additional damage output as well, guys. This is just really, really strong, guys, because it's basically doing everything that the other one was doing, except for the energy regeneration rate, but it's just giving you bigger heals all around for your Natasha. Talking about some other good ones you could run, guys, this is the one that's in the current banner, Shared Feelings. This can also work because it does increase the outgoing healing by 10%, and then also whenever a skill is used, they're going to be regenerating 2 energy for all allies. Now, this is with you guys for a free play now, guys. Anyways, guys, I also stream on Twitch. I can't let you guys hear. This is going to be up to your preference and how you want the team to run as a whole. Alright, guys, so the set that I'm running right now, my Natasha, is going to be the 4-piece Hackerspace set. This is the brand new set they added to the game, guys. This is going to be increasing Natasha's speed, and also whenever she uses her ultimate on an ally, guys, is going to be increasing the speed for all allies by 12% for 1 turn. So this is just giving a speed boost to the whole team, which I think is really clutch. Speed is really, really important right now. That's the reason I'm running this. Now, if you're looking at the calculations of how much healing you lose, guys, I'll throw up here on screen now. You do lose about 100 healing from the ultimate and the skill from using this set. It's not really too big of a variance, so you are losing about 100 healing on this, guys. Now, guys, alternatively, you could run 2-piece of the Hackerspace and 2-piece of the Wandering Cloud, just because you're going to be getting that extra 10% outgoing healing, and then also increases Natasha's speed by 6% still, which means she's able to get back up and running and do more attacks and gain more energy that much quicker to pop her ult off quicker. The reason I'm not running a 4-piece Pastor Bly anymore, guys, is because honestly the 4-piece set just really doesn't do much for you past the first turn. It gives you 1 skill point when you enter battle. That's it. That's literally it. So I just can't see running that, guys. As far as the planner set goes, guys, you could run a 2-piece Fleet of the Ageless, but I did notice there is not much of a difference in the amount of healing you do between Fleet of the Ageless and also the new Broken Keel set. I would recommend the Broken Keel set because it does increase the effect resistance, which means she won't get debuffed as often, which means you can heal her up better and you can heal the team up more often. This just increases her survivability a bit more than the HP does, and that 12% max HP that you lose really doesn't affect the healing that much. It's about 100 off, but we'll talk more about like actual calculations at the end of our relic section here. So I would recommend either running a 2-piece Fleet of the Ageless, which gives you the HP and also increased attack for the whole team at 120 speed, or Broken Keel if you can get that effect resistance over 30%. That means you need to be building 20% effect resistance into your kit, guys, because the 2-piece set already gives you 10%. So this is going to be really massive if you want to run this. This is the only way I'd recommend running this, because that crit damage that you're giving to all allies is ultimately going to be bigger than the attack buff that you're giving them, guys. It's a 10% crit damage buff. Come on. So talking about some of the main stats you want to be running on these pieces, guys. On the boots, you want to be running speed. You want to going as fast as possible. That's just how it is. I mean, that's just the best things to run, guys, is speed. You want them to be speedy and as fast as possible to just do as much healing as they can. On the chest plate, guys, you want to be either going for outgoing healing boost or HP. Outgoing healing boost is going to make a lot bigger of a difference if you're running this versus an HP. Recommend give her more HP, which means she does more healing, and it makes her survive a little bit better as well, because she does have a higher HP pool. If she does take a hit, she can survive it. Now, guys, finally, guys, for the chain, which is one of the hardest stats to get in the game, I know, I would be focusing on energy regeneration rate, guys. That would be the main thing I would say focus on the chain, because energy regeneration rate is really clutch. It helps out a lot for your team. It just helps her get her ult up faster, so you're healing the team faster. Alternatively, guys, if you don't have this, you could just run HP again, but you do start to get diminishing returns after running so much HP in Natasha. You just don't get as much healing back in return for the amount you're putting in for it. I would recommend that energy regeneration rate, guys. So talking about some of the substats that you want to be running on Natasha now, you want to be running HP percentage, speed, effect resistance. That would be the main thing. HP a lot bigger. Or Broken Keel if you can get that effect resistance over 30%. That means you need to lose really doesn't affect the healing that much. It's about 100 off, but we'll talk more about like actual calculations at the end of our relic section here. So I would recommend either running a 2-piece Fleet of the Ageless, which gives you the HP and also increased attack for the whole team at 120 speed, or Broken Keel if you can get that effect resistance over 30%. That means you need to be building 20% effect resistance into your kit, guys, because the 2-piece set already gives you 10%. So this is going to be really massive if you want to run this. This is the only way I'd recommend running this, because that crit damage that you're giving to all allies is ultimately going to be bigger than the attack buff that you're giving them, guys. It's a 10% crit damage buff. Come on. So talking about some of the main stats you want to be running on these pieces, guys. On the boots, you want to be running speed. You want to going as fast as possible. That's just how it is. I mean, that's just the best things to run, guys, is speed. You want them to be speedy and as fast as possible to just do as much healing as they can. On the chest plate, guys, you want to be either going for outgoing healing boost or HP. Outgoing healing boost is going to make a lot bigger of a difference if you're running this versus an HP one, because HP doesn't scale all too well on Natasha, just because her HP scalings are kind of low on her abilities. But outgoing healing boost will amplify that a lot more, so I would recommend outgoing healing boost. If you can't get that, then run HP instead on the chest. On your sphere, guys, I would recommend running an HP percentage sphere. This is just gonna come in clutch. Like I said, it's gonna give her more HP, which means she does more healing, and it makes her survive a little bit better as well, because she does have a higher HP pool. If she does take a hit, she can survive it. Now, guys, finally, guys, for the chain, which is one of the hardest stats to get in the game, I know, I would be focusing on energy regeneration rate, guys. That would be the main thing I would say focus on the chain, because energy regeneration rate is really clutch. It helps out a lot for your team. It just helps her get her ult up faster, so you're healing the team faster. Alternatively, guys, if you don't have this, you could just run HP again, but you do start to get diminishing returns after running so much HP in Natasha. You just don't get as much healing back in return for the amount you're putting in for it. I would recommend that energy regeneration rate, guys. So talking about some of the substats that you want to be running on Natasha now, you want to be running HP percentage, speed, effect resistance, and really any other defensive stat. If you can get some defense percentage in there, that's fine. If you get HP flat stat, that's fine. You want really just anything to keep her alive longer. The most important thing here, guys, is you want to be getting HP percentage, speed, and effect resistance. Those are the 3 main things you want to be looking for here. So guys, let's talk about some of the damage calculations that I did for all of the sets here. Basically, the sets that I compared, guys, was 4-piece hacker space with both of the relic sets that I talked about. And then also I compared the 2-piece passerby with 2-piece hacker space with both of the planar sets as well, guys. And then at the end, I'll show you the difference between running an HP chest compared to a outgoing healing chest, and I can show you the difference in healing there. So first, guys, what we're going to look at is the 4-piece hacker space compared to the 2-piece passerby and hacker space using Fleet of the Ageless. As you can see, the difference in healing here, guys, is around 100. It goes from around 2148 to around 2273 with using the 2-piece. So there is about 100 in healing difference there, guys. So you take that for how you will. I mean, pretty okay, I guess. It's not that much of a difference. I think you see a lot bigger difference when you run the outgoing healing boost, because these numbers are ran off of running an HP chest. The biggest difference here we're going to see is when we're using the kill set, guys. So this does make your outgoing healing fluctuate a lot more. If you're running the 2-piece, guys, you're going to be getting around 2200 healing compared to the full hacker set, which will give you 2085 healing. So you do lose about 200 healing there, or it's about 100, and it's more than the other one that you'd be losing as far as healing goes here, guys. So the safer option here would really be to run the 2-piece on each side here. Like I said, though, I do want that extra speed for the team, so I am running a more dangerous option. Alright, guys, now I'll be showing you the difference between the full hacker set with the Keel ornament versus the full hacker set with Keel ornament with outgoing healing as a main stat on the chest plate instead of HP. As you can see, there is over a 200 gap with using outgoing healing as your main stat. That's also going to be applying to your other set as well, guys. So you will be getting extra 200 healing there from that. So it'll bump up from 22 to 24. So you are getting a lot more healing running that outgoing healing boost. That's why I do recommend running that outgoing healing boost, just because it does give you a lot more. Alright, guys, time to talk about my cracked out Natasha here. This is the most down-to-earth build you could possibly have. The most free-to-play Natasha you could ever have. E5 Natasha. I'm not going to sit here and say it doesn't help me out, because this helps me out a ton, guys. So let's just go ahead and talk about it, guys. E1 is... it's okay. It's if you get below 30% HP on Natasha, she'll automatically heal herself up. It's pretty nice if you get low HP. This does give her more survivability, guys. Talking about E2 now, whenever she uses her ultimate, she grants continuous healing to one ally whose HP was 30% or lower. This means if your whole team is in the red, you use her ultimate, whoever's HP was the lowest, you'll be basically giving them continuous healing every single turn. This kind of acts like Invigorate, except you don't have to be hit for it to activate it. It just activates at the beginning of every single turn, which is really nice. E4, guys, is after being attacked, she regenerates 5 extra energy. This will also be playing into her energy recharge, guys, so this will give you more energy. And then finally, guys, E6. I don't have E6, unfortunately, but this helps her DPS a little bit more. Is going to be increasing her basic attack damage based off of her max HP, well, 40% of her max HP. So this is just pretty nice for dealing more damage to enemies. E6 is just really strong, guys, though I will say her strongest ones are probably E4 and E2, guys. These are just really, really strong. One grants continuous healing, and the other one grants you extra energy, which means you can ult more. Guys, instead of doing a full character showcase for Natasha, because I don't really think that matters too much, we're going to show how her ability works. As you can see, Clara has been dominated by Dom Mommy Kafka, correct? Now, let's watch when we use our skill here. Whoa, she's not dominated anymore. Wow, that's so cool. That's the thing right there. Now she won't attack the rest of my team. Isn't that just so cool, guys? And that's the basic premise of it, guys. Let's see how much healing she can do from her ult. Probably not much, because my Natasha's level 60. So, let's see how much healing she does. Yo, all I know is Clara popping off. Oh, look at this. Yay, 1200 healing there, and you're still attacking Clara? Don't know why, but whatever. I'll take it. Not really worried about it too much. Oh, but now we can ult with Welt, and yeah, that's really it for the showcase, guys. I just want to, 12,000 damage. Let's go Welt. So yeah, there's your build guide for Natasha. Look how cute she looks. She even has a teddy bear.
What is Mecha according to Hassan? Attack on Titan. It's the Flash Mecha. There's so many sexy anime figures. Why is there so much booba? I don't normally complain about this, but it is one instance. Okay, so my strat is just to go full horny.
We're live, baby! What we're going to be doing today is we are in A-Stop, which you might remember from our figure specials 1 and 2. What we're going to be doing today is we are going to be making our own figure box. If you don't know what A-Stop is, it's a figure store with a bunch of secondhand figures where anyone can make their own box and sell them in real life.
So each of these boxes are actually owned by individuals who bought the space and then placed their own figures that they bought to resell. We're going to be doing one of those.
We have to make our box look the most enticing, and whichever you guys decide is the best box at the end of the day is the winner. However, it's not that simple. We don't just get to pick anime figures and make a box. Of course, it's Crash Taste, there's handicaps, and there's other types of challenges to make it so that we have to get a little creative.
One of us has to choke.
I won't be me this time. Come on, I can't.
We're going to be doing a bunch of challenges involving figures. We are initially going to be starting with a base budget of $500. In this economy, $500 is not going to get you a lot, so we're going to be having a bunch of challenges that we're going to do, and for every challenge we are able to successfully complete, we get an extra $100 for our final budget.
Basically, we can go up to probably over even $1,000.
Yeah.
If you're good, if you get the challenges right, yeah.
And the people who are going to be voting on who wins each challenge and who gets up their budget is you guys watching live on stream.
Here we go. Ready? Our first
Wait,
round.
how much time do we have?
5 minutes. Please let 5 minutes to find the best Luffy figure. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, Luffy, One Piece. I love One Piece. I know more One Piece than Joey and Connor because they have not caught up to One Piece yet, so I'm going to find something. Oh, this is this One Piece box. That's great.
There's one piece there. There's one piece there. Luffy, hold on. Oh, okay. Oh, these are sick. These are sick. These are cool, but they're not like. No, that Gear 5 Luffy right there. Okay, I'll take a picture of that.
Some solid ones there, but nothing that looks kind of crazy. Joe's probably cheating and already asking him for help.
That's a pretty cool one. No, I need like a big one. I need like a big chunky Luffy.
Oh, there is no. That's actually pretty. Oh,
Basic Luffy, basic.
you don't even know One Piece, Connor. He doesn't even know post-time skip Luffy here.
Oh, actually, that's kind of cool. That's got the 3 of them there. Oh, never mind. That's what I'm looking for. Everyone just puts the same thing. Let's just Cell shaded Gear 4 Luffy. Hell yeah, dude. Alright, I think I got it.
Are you looking for any particular criteria?
Just something kind of out there, something kind of invoking, fun. I like this one a lot. It's kind of sick. I don't know. I feel like I like this one. I think I'm gonna go with this one. I'm gonna just try that one.
Oh, here we go. Oh, Gear 5. No, that's Gear 4. Oh, that's even sicker. Look at that one, boys. I think I won. That's actually such a sick figure. So I'm gonna stay here so they don't see this corner. There's a lot of action.
Is it One Piece corner?
No, this is actually my corner.
I can never hear you talking so loudly about how this is One Piece corner.
This is actually my corner. You don't even know half these. Who's that character corner?
That's Dragon Lady. Whoa, that Luffy. What the fuck? I think that's spoiler.
Yeah, that's spoiler.
What the fuck?
Alright, I found my one.
Alright, I found my one. Shall we stop the challenge now?
Alright, should we show
Why
it?
don't we take us around?
Okay.
Alright, where's yours?
My one was over here. Cell shaded Gear 4 Luffy.
Yeah, that's a spoiler right there.
Sorry. I was debating whether to do the Wano Cell shaded Luffy, but I like Gear 4 one though.
That's not Luffy.
That's not even his final form,
Bro,
bro.
it looked like he had sex with Frankie. What happened?
So that's my pick.
I've just done this one. It's this one over there. Look at the shading on that. That's beautiful.
That's basic.
No, but it's simple. It's Luffy, not a monstrosity.
Alright, and Gaunt, what's your one?
So mine's over there. Of course it's that one. Look at that one.
Yeah, that's Giga Chat as fuck.
That is Giga Chat as fuck. That is Gear 4 in its finest form.
Just like you went here first. I would have gone for highest number price too. As well.
Hey, I'm the one who found the massive One Piece box here. This is a true One Piece fan. Look at all of
Oh,
these
spoilers everywhere.
Okay, so it looks like the votes are in. It's pretty close actually. It's pretty close with 80% voting for Gaunt.
Alright, let's move on.
6% for Joey.
What the fuck? You guys have zero taste.
No, you just picked the worst version of mine, to be honest.
How did the basic ass Luffy figure beat the fucking Gear
It's
4?
clean. It's cell shaded. At least it would look interesting.
So that's $100 for me, so I'm at $600.
Alright, let's move on to challenge 2, shall we?
You will have 5 minutes to find the coolest mecha figure. Go.
Ava counts as mecha? Okay, I've got a strategy. Find an Ava figure. That counts as mecha. I'm not. I got it. Alright, we're done. I won the challenge.
My philosophy is that high price equals cooler figure, right? That's normally how it goes. This right here is already. What the fuck? This one is 140,000. Wait, this one's 200,000. That's just rare. I don't think that's the coolest.
Mecha. Avas. They're mechas. No, because the fucking chat's gonna be like, Ava's not actually a mecha, you dumbass. I'm gonna avoid that fucking shit show. Although this is sick as fuck. Mark 6, bro. I'm gonna take a photo of this just in case, as a backup.
What is mecha according to Hassan? Attack on Titan. This is a mecha, right? We can go with this. This is the coolest mecha. It's the Flash mecha.
The problem is, I don't think mechas really like exist as figures. Like they're usually like in Gunpla sets and stuff like that. Like, those are the best looking actual figures.
What defines a mecha?
Is that a mecha? Is he a mecha? He's got armor. No, that's his coding, bro.
I'm gonna hurry them along.
Okay, question.
I'm just like waiting out. I'm just chilling.
You get confident one time and you start getting so cocky.
Okay, I have 2 choices. Both are questionably mecha.
I have chosen one and I've stuck with it and I'm gone.
What do you reckon the chances are we have the same brains on this idea? I think he might have gone for the same thing. I think he's gonna do it. I'm gonna say I want to go first. I'm gonna get first. I would like to go first if you don't mind, because I have something I'm pretty confident about.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you one of my favorite mechas. All right. And right here is my favorite mecha. It's Attack on Titan.
I was hoping one of you guys was gonna do that.
Did we all pick the same one?
No, I went first, God. I picked it first.
Wait, you picked that as well?
Yeah, did you pick that? I'm sorry, who was the only one that actually agreed with Hassan?
That doesn't mean shit. I nailed it. I chose it first. It's my mecha.
Okay, I do have some backups though, just in case that shit doesn't go by. Does Metal Greymon count as a mecha?
No.
But he's got metal on him.
There's no one driving him.
He's driving himself.
Yeah, I think he's kind of driving himself. I mean, not to take away.
Also, I have an Ava 06 unit. Is that a mecha?
Yeah, whatever. This is clearly the best mecha figure.
Yeah, well, so God, I guess thank you for admitting that my figure's the best one. What's your figure then? Your first pick was Curly Take?
If we're going with when we picked it, then I clearly picked it first.
Well, I went first, so.
You walked around, you weren't confident in your pick. I walked up here, and this is on camera. I walked up here and I was like, found it. All right, I don't need to look anymore.
This is really arguing about who got the best
Listen, I'm
flash
just saying,
mecha.
I picked the best Flash mecha. Probably can't stole my idea. I presented it first.
This is the guy who takes a joke and says it louder for the class. I run over there and Connor's like, guys, I'm gonna present mine first. Actually, I want to present mine first, even though he finished last. He finished his challenge last.
Well, Joe, congratulations. It looks like you might have won the poll.
Yay! Pity points.
I guess Joey wins because me and Gaunt were bickering like children.
Okay, next challenge is find the most detailed anime figure.
3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1, go. All right, I know where I'm going.
I think I'm heading in the same direction.
Fuck's like Joey. Again, people taking my ideas.
Look at that fucking Deku figure. That's insane. That's actually fucking crazy. This one too. These ones.
We've already mentioned this, but look at the detail. This Yamato figure, I love the detail. This is peak degeneracy right here. I think we can find a better one. I
I'll just choose the Attack on Titan mecha. Oh god, I could just do a meme, but they'll never vote for me on a meme. The deck one's cool, but no one likes it. If I got that, no one would vote for it. They wouldn't think it's sick. The play here is to go for a hot anime waifu, because they're gonna go for the actual detail. I'm gonna go for the, you know what I mean?
Yeah, look at that dog. Look at that. That's sick as fuck. Come on, chat. That's sick as fuck. You gotta give me the point for that.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
That is sick. It's mine. So fuck off.
I'm gonna get something better.
Look at the detail on the Zod figure and the Zod figure. Look at all like the individual decals on like all that. I'm gonna take a picture of Zod. Clearly, with some of the most detailed art, you're gonna get the most detailed figures. It's not all about who gets the biggest figurine, even though most of the time they are really, really detailed. I think it's like the series that's doing figure off as well. I'm pretty confident we're doing the Zod figures.
Oh, how big are these hot too?
Can we toss up between the Berserk one and the Dead one?
Oh no, I heard what Joey said.
I think God has the same idea as me.
Fuck's sake, Joey, stop it, Joey. Stop taking my ideas, bro. Alright, Joey, clearly you know your strategy, because we have the same strategy. Let's just agree to beat corner.
Yeah.
Which Berserk figure you picking?
It's the one over there.
Okay, I'll pick the other one then. Okay, that wasn't my pick anyway, so that's good. Alright, we finished! Who asked God?
Although, you know, to be fair, I picked the Berserk one, but like, this Decker one is pretty insane. You gotta admit. I don't know, Chad, what do you think's better, the Berserk one or the Decker one? Alright, Chad, I'll trust you. I'll go with the Decker one. No, Chad, don't start a poll. The other boys read the chat as well. For fuck's sake. Why did you start a poll? They're gonna see it. They're like, what the fuck is this poll?
We go, oh, someone really loves JoJo. Oh my god. I don't even want to know how many dicks he sucked. Oh my god.
I think I've decided. I'll go last this time.
Okay.
Okay, well, my one's just right there.
Okay, Joe, you can show yours first.
Detail. Decker figure. The detail on that's pretty insane. TBH.
I can hear Unraveled right now as I look at that figure.
You were looking for a Deku figure. Actually looking at the Berserk figure. Why'd you go for this one?
Well, Chad was like, I think that one looks better.
So you were cheating with chat?
I believe in chat.
You're not allowed to survey. That's,
The chat is trolling you. Full. No shot. Chat. Go for that.
that's fine. Okay, I'll show mine next. Like, Joey was going to choose this Guts figure, but I think the detail on the Zod figure. You can see the individual furs. You can see all of Mira's art just being like put onto this figure. The amount of detail on this is fucking insane.
That's like a really good Zord figure.
Clearly, you guys had what detail meant more. For me, detail didn't mean what's the coolest looking thing. It's like who put the most work into the titties and the ass. And I think this video, although I'm not a fan of the show, I mean, look at this. Look at the detail. Look at the detail. Yes, it's fake. They have sculpted the boobs in such a way the shadow always hits the inside. It's actually a marvelous technique.
Dude, that is in its own.
Look at the detail. How can you not tell me that's the most detailed figure? I think everyone can agree the booba figure is the most detailed. Let's see who's the. Oh yeah, okay, that's a lion slide. They appreciate the booba. Thank you, chat.
You guys are a bunch of horny motherfuckers.
You guys are so down bad right now.
Okay, players will have 5 minutes to find the cutest anime figure. 3, 2, 1, go.
The cutest. What is cute? What is cute to the viewers? I think. Oh,
Cutest anime figure. All right, I've got to think. What is a cute girl that even the most basic of anime fans will agree is cute? Ren. Look, if we went with my tastes, then it's just going to be contexture of like, oh, she's not cute, blah, blah, blah. So just go with the most vanilla bitch. Vanilla bitch. Go with the most vanilla bitch.
This might be the hardest challenge we've all done so far. As you know, in fact, we hate cute things on Trash Base. Give me the booba. Give me the sexiness. I don't need cute, but okay. Let's channel the slice of life fan in me. All right. I love. What cute thing do I like? Watching the Rock.
I'm just trying to think, what is cute to a lot of people? How can we subvert the expectations of viewers? Because right now, they're going to pick something basic, as they always do, and I think they're banking on me doing that, and that's going to be the reason I fail. So I'm going to get something that isn't basic.
There's so many sexy anime figures. Why is there so much booba? I don't normally complain about this, but it is one instance.
I mean, that's kind of cute. That's just like wholesome cute. Who's like a normal character that everyone can agree is cute? Because I found a lot of hot figures.
Yeah, I found a lot of hot figures as well.
Cute.
Maybe a Nezuko figure? People still think Nezuko's cute, right? Oh my god. This sounds cute, chat. This moves my heart. It's a very climactic scene from Nico Robin. Oh, I don't know if that's cute though. I'm going to take a picture of that anyway. If I was looking for the saddest figure, that's what I would go for.
Anya sitting with the dog. Pretty damn cute. That's a solid option. It's too traditionally cute.
Oh, that's fucking cute. That's really fucking cute. I can nail that one. That's also cute, but that's more like badass than cute. That's an amazing fish shot figure. I think that's really cute. And same with this Holo one. But I know people aren't going to agree on that. I think like everyone can agree BT and Naji's cute, right?
Okay, I found a cute anime character that everyone thinks is cute. Anya, but that is the Anya that will give me nightmares. What is that? Oh, I found the Genshin corner. Oh, fuck. No shop, Paimon is $500. No fucking. What is this? Holy shit. Why are the Genshin figures so expensive? Yo, they know. Whoever made this model, they know Genshin players have money to spend. We found it, boys. Look at this. That figure is fucking adorable.
3, 2, 1.
I've decided what I'm
All right, we all decided?
Yes.
Goddamn, you used the full 5 minutes.
This one was actually tough.
Yeah, because, you know, there's a lot of hot characters, but I wouldn't necessarily classify them as cute. I think it's a different type. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first. We might not like Demon Slayer, but fucking that is an adorable Nezuko figure.
That is pretty cute.
Look at that. Normally we all love to shit talk Demon Slayer, but that is a really
One of the
cute
few
figure.
times she's actually happy.
She's sleeping because she watched the season of Demon Slayer.
I would have rather just 12 episodes of this than the season of Demon Slayer that we actually got.
Where's the slice of life?
If you just give me Nezuko head hats, that's all I need, man.
Alright, my one is actually just right there, so everyone loves me in this, and I think we can all agree Nanachi and Niti are fucking adorable.
When I see Nanachi and Nishi, I have a wave of emotions that I get from watching those. I'm getting trauma right now. Did you want to give me trauma? Because that's what I'm getting right now.
Cute trauma.
That's not bad. Alright, come on, let me show you the real cutest figure. This is undoubtedly cute.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, that is cute.
This is just cute. This is the cutest figure. Whether it's a good figure, I mean, we
Holy fuck, that's $300.
$300, but Tanya sleeping on bomb, which I think is so cute in a nice little bowl. Let's go! I'm winning! Yes! 85%. Alright, next challenge. Give me a trash box kun. I will tear him in 5 minutes to find the creepiest anime figure. Go.
Well, Joe, you could have won that one just right now.
You guys are pussies. You think Niti is creepy?
The creepiest thing, by far, that I have seen in this entire store, bar none, is Paimon going for $500. If that's not creepy, I don't know what the fuck is. I'm sorry. As a Genshin fan, I'm like, oh my god, I see this in my nightmares, man. I just paid $500 for Paimon.
That's fucking creepy. I love Luffy. Softbank horse. Luffy doing that. That's pretty creepy. Yes, nothing creepy. Product placement.
What is creepy? It's hard to be creepy in an anime figure. Like a horror series? Or what? That is creepy. TBH. So that's a backup, but also...
That's cool, not creepy, Joe.
Well then, we're fucked, because I don't think we'll ever find anything then.
This guy right here, he's creepy. Chasing after a woman that clearly doesn't want him without consent every single time. Kind of creepy if you ask me.
That Deku figure was also like pretty creepy. My man just discovered Linkin Park for the first time and wants to edit his first Naruto AMV. Look at this. All of these are cute. Oh my god. Actually, these Anya figures are also actually pretty creepy. Oh my god.
That's creepy, especially the green fluorescent. Well, what about the one that's just covered in jizz? Let's do jizz covered alien. That's pretty creepy. That's conceptually creepy. Alright, that's number one for sure.
Jizz covered.
Yeah, it's conceptual. Think about it. Think about the amount of nut. That's creepy.
I'm not a fan of the cute Oscar figures. I hate their beady eyes. Look at them. They're like just gross and big. They're like the Funko Pops of anime figures. We could buy a good figure, but why they sell these? Todoroki, why you look like that? You look like just like if his trauma was made by Disney. I think that's what we're gonna go for. I think that's the plan.
What the fuck is that? Oh, that creeps me out. That is so cursed. Look at his eyes. Look at his eyes. Look at that. My man Chad is William Dafoe. Get in this figure.
I think I'm just gonna go with the covered alien. Alright, I'm done, boys.
I'll start off. Okay. You know, when you think about creepy, you think about grotesque, kind of weird proportions. I mean, creepy. These awful goddamn cute Oscar figures.
Yeah.
They're so creepy. Look at his eyes. This guy, he had half his face burned up. But look at him. It looks like his biggest problem is like how he's gonna sing the next song. I don't like that much. Alright, what's your guys' creepy?
So the problem with creepy figures is that if figures were genuinely creepy, no one would fucking buy them.
Okay.
So I just had to go with like the weirdest, creepiest, I guess, thing that I could find, which was alien covered in jizz.
I mean, mean, I think that's pretty cool, actually.
See, that's the problem. We find creepy stuff cool, so like you can't find anything that's actually creepy. Yeah, but this is conceptually creepy. This alien got Bukaki, bro. Think about it.
I think it's hot.
There is something I've seen in here that I can only imagine seeing in my nightmares. Come with me. My fellow Genshin players, imagine this in your nightmares, okay? You've woken up and you've realized that you spent $500 on a tiny Paimon figure. That is the fucking stuff of nightmares, man. I can't. Oh my god. Just looking at that increases my blood pressure.
That's the average spending rate of an average Genshin.
This is a jump scare for like a Genshin player. You see this and you get a fucking heart attack.
Alright, who had the creepiest anime figure vote now?
This is the most amount of code now.
It's like you said, most anime figures aren't creepy. Yeah, they're just cool. Looks like I'm in the lead.
How the fuck is God getting more votes than me? You Genshin fuck. This is the last challenge.
So I'm gonna be going to the final with the most money.
Final challenge, here we go. Ready? 5 minutes to find the biggest Giga Chad figure. Ready, so we go. Who is a Giga Chad? Jojo, I guess. Dio, he's pretty Giga Chad. Fuck, who else is Giga Chad? Sonic's Giga Chad. I just want that. I want that figure, dude. I think I might actually buy that after this shoot.
As much as I would like to pick an Isekai Giga Chad, I don't think that Twitch chat watch Isekai. I'm gonna go back to being a One Piece fan because I think the biggest Giga Chad in One Piece is undoubtedly Whitebeard.
This is one of those things where you could do something different and people might appreciate it, but also people blindly like Kagazin. Like, so if you give them something like Zoro, they'll probably vote for it. So I think it's kind of interesting how we are.
That's pretty sick. Look at the figure. He's a fucking Giga Chad, dude. Oh, Kenpachi. That's the Giga Chad Bleach right there, dude. Fucking Kenpachi? Hell yeah. Anyone who's seen Bleach. Yeah, alright. We're going with that.
Guts would be the easy pick, but you know, I think that's too obvious. Batman's a Giga Chad, but also really obvious pick as well.
There's only one people. It's too easy. I should never one of them.
There's lots of Giga Chads. Is there a Giga Chad?
I've decided it might be Giga Chad, I think.
Yeah?
I think so. I think there's so many good character figures here that are goated. I think I found the one that's gonna take it.
Okay.
Jon normally does this thing where he's like, he never likes doing the obvious answer. He always has to subvert the expectations. He's gonna be like, oh, Giga Chad, then having sex with your brother.
To be fair.
Should I throw in a curveball and pick a Giga Chadette? Because Revi is an absolute fucking Giga Chadette. She kicks so much ass and takes so many names. I think I might go for Revi.
So, I think we decided on a Giga Chads? Who wants to go first?
I guess I'm going first.
Alright, yeah.
Alright. So, it's... Shut the fuck up. I haven't even started my explanation yet, guys. I'm just preparing for it. It's 2023 right now. Who says a Giga Chad needs to be a guy, okay? We are all for gender equality right here, guys. It's 2023, alright? And there is one Giga Chadette that stands above everyone else. That's fucking Revi from Black Lagoon, man. That is Revi from Black Lagoon. Revi is the fucking Giga Chads of Giga Chads, man. She is fucking mental, she kicks ass, and she takes names.
Okay, my one's right here, and I just went with like a really obvious answer that I'm sure everybody can agree that the biggest Giga Chad in all of Bleach is Kenpachi.
Well,
you know, that's just it. That's it. It's Kenpachi.
Bleach, what's that?
He's the biggest Giga Chad. Anyone who's read or watched Bleach knows Kenpachi the goat.
I don't know, man. Yamato, man.
I guess. That's his personal preference, you know?
I don't know if you guys go for Zoro. I feel like that would have been easy points.
All basic.
I already shown this off the stream earlier.
Yeah.
But I think this is a good pick. Milena. She destroyed every Elden Ring player's hopes.
That is
no
pretty
one else. And it's a $650
Holy
figure.
shit.
That is a beautiful. It comes with the box as well.
Dude, look at that. Hold on. Look at that for
Yeah,
Samurai
between the two.
one. That's a cool one. That's Giga Chad.
But I felt that Milena had committed more pain to the last generation.
Sure.
But this is a Giga Chad for sure.
Yeah.
But my pick's Milena. So
Okay.
I'm going to Milena. I think it's solid. Alright, Chad, who do you think would be biggest Giga Chad out of Revi, Kenpachi, that's right, I remember, and Milena? Vote now.
I think this might be the hardest one. Yeah, they're all like pretty good.
They're all Giga Chad.
They all do Giga Chad energy. Yeah. Oh my god, this is
Okay,
so
well, it's definitely
close.
not me.
Joey with 14% of Bleach fans.
It says John one.
Hell yeah! By like 10 votes, I won.
Yeah, by like a minuscule amount.
Fuck yes, I didn't know that many people still remember Black Lagoon. Fuck yeah, you guys are good taste. You guys are good taste.
Anyway, I have 80,000 yen. Don has 70,000 yen. Joey has 60,000 yen. We now have to make one of these beautiful boxes. We can make anything, we can buy any figures that are in the store to make our own box.
This is the locations of our boxes right over here. We have 1, 2.
Wait, this is Joey's the loser. You can get it.
Yeah, I think I'll need as much space as you guys. So I'll take a small.
Alright, we need this.
So for this segment, it's more of a scavenger hunt. There are items that you have to go through as well.
Oh, I see.
So we have to get these put in our box.
Yes, there are certain teams as well. So let me reveal the themes for Guard. You actually have the Gotcha Games theme.
I'm gonna go broke.
For me, it looks like I have like a classics list. So I have like Astro Boy, Evangelion, Lupin the First, Slam Dunk, Doraemon. Yeah, all good shit.
I have like the dog shit list.
What do you want to show?
Oh shit, Naruto, Bleach. Noragami, did they have Noragami figures?
Alright, so we have up to 10 points to get with our scavenger hunt, and 5 points for you guys. I'm gonna be trying to impress you guys, because I can't afford all this shit. I have to buy a Genshin figure, Fate, Grand Order, Honkai, Azure Lane, Arknight. One of these things alone is gonna be my entire budget.
Alright,
30 minutes.
let's go.
Let's have a look at the list here. Jojo, easy. Naruto, easy. Bleach, easy. Yu Hakusho, kind of hard. I don't know a lot of characters. Hunter, actually kind of tough. There's not a lot of Hunter figures out. Noragami, I know Noragami, but does Joey say Soul One? Blue Exorcist? Fuck, Blue Exorcist hard. Hitman Reborn, sure. Soul Leader's gonna be tough too. I don't like any of these shows.
I think Connor definitely got the easiest one. Let's get a really cheap Ava figure that also looks good. Because there's lots of Ava figures, but I think Ava is going to be the easiest one to find on a budget. Hold on, actually, I'm going to do a Slam Dunk figure over here. Well, that's my entire budget. Fuck me.
Here's my strat. I'm gonna try and get the cheapest figures for each scavenger hunt if I can find it, and then I'll actually go for a question in the chat. Which is the cheapest one out of all of this? Let's get the Squirtle for 980 yen. Alright, so that's Pokemon done. Dragon Ball Legends. So again, trying to find a cheap Dragon Ball figure. Let me see. That one. What? I was trying to find small figures. That one is basically $56. I can't have that on my budget. Dragon Ball fans, what the fuck, man? I thought you had a GTX.
That narrative figure is really cool. I love the concept of son and father. Oh, yeah, sure. Perfect. That's a great one too. It's cheap. Doesn't take too much
I'll do some cheap Ava figures. So I think I'll grab this gray one right here. See, that's not that much more expensive, and it looks way cool. Yeah, fine. I'm gonna go for that instead. Fucking hell, why are they so goddamn expensive? I'm gonna have to give up on Rurouni Kenshin, man. That shit's way too expensive.
How much do I want to spend on Genshin figures? These are so expensive. One of my figures is to find a figure from Genshin Impact and find a figure from Arknights. The cheapest Genshin figure is $500. That one's $1,000. And let me see. We have an Arknight box right here, and again, the cheapest figure is $400.
Can you help me out? Can you help me out? Can you help me find a Noragami or a Blue Exorcist figure? Okay. Good luck, guys. I over the past 6 people, now I can focus on being good and being good figures.
There we go, there's the Doraemon ones. What's the cheapest one? I like the one, I like the flying one. Oh, that's 985. Let's do this one. Let's do the Slam Dunk one right here. There's a Slam Dunk one right there, but it's $120. I still have about 500 and something left, so I'm gonna get it just to get the point. Okay, I've got 3 so far. I've got an Eva one, a Slam Dunk one, and a Doraemon one.
Okay, so my strat is just to go full horny. I feel like chat's down bad, so we're gonna go full horny. I'm gonna try and impress chat that way. Oh, maybe a Faith? Okay, maybe something from this Faith figurine. Gacha players, Gacha gamers, why do we have so much money? Why do we do this for ourselves? This is what we get for spending money on PNGs. They think, oh my god, they spend that much for PNG? Think about how much they spend on molecules, man. Look at that shit. Someone went for my strat. Look at how horny this box is. POV, you're looking at the average Isekai fan box. This is actually pretty cheap. can I just take this box? All of these figures are so cheap. I think she'll go well for the front. And one, I'm we'll take one more from this box. I think Silica, I think that's her name, is the better figure out of the two, but Alice is best girl. Alice is clearly best girl. I look at this box and I'm like, oh, a brother. Okay, you know your taste. Man of culture, I see.
Which JoJo figure do I want? That's crazy. The figure pen is gone for 30,000 yen. That used to cost like 60 bucks retail. I'm gonna go for C under 125 for the pose. I love the pose a lot. There's some fans over there. They were discussing whether or not they were going to take a picture with Garn. I went up to them. I told them, hey, can you help me find a D Grey Man figure, a Blue Exosphere figure, a Noragami figure, and Solio? So they're looking right now. However, after that, I asked the staff, I was like, do you sure have any of these figures? He was like, oh no, so they're still looking. They're all still looking to help, which I feel bad about, but also it's kind of fun.
There's Astro Boy. Oh, that one looks like shit though. Oh, actually, the Dr. Elephant one is actually kind of cute and cheaper. Yeah, I'm gonna do that actually. Fuck that. Oh, this Kenshin, 10,000 yen. Alright, you know what? Not bad. I'll take it. Oh, hold on. That's kind of cheap. Yeah, that fits my budget. I'll take that. It kind of looks jank, but it's for the point.
Oh my god, look at that Misato figure. Oh, that's also pretty big and pretty horny. That might be good. What takes off many? I think I'm just giving up on that right now. I just feel like I can't afford it. I want to find the most degenerate fake figure I can, because I feel like there needs to be like a centipede. There needs to be a centipede for a really, really cool degenerate figure, and I just can't seem to find it right now.
I think this one's sexy too. Look at this one. I think you've got to go for the Killer Queen, right? I think it's better, right? Changing the JoJo figure. I'm making an executive decision. I'm thinking this one for Naruto. I'm gonna like bullet. I'm gonna go for this one. I'm gonna go for the Naruto one. Yeah. What is this? Oh, dude! Thank you, Shelly. Both Blue Exorcist, these guys.
Oh, I don't recognize this one. I know that was the maker.
Oh my god, you saved me a point. Thank you. Yay. You know any cheap bleach figures out? There's loads of them. I know there is. I'm just not good at recognizing bleach. I'm looking for a cheap one. You guys can help me out? I would appreciate it.
What is this?
What is this?
That's an assistant.
Listen, we're using the charm.
Okay, I have some budget left over, so I should. Fuck, you found it. There's a Jigen. 9,999 yen. Fuck yeah, I'll take that. All that's remaining is Legend of the Galactic Heroes, Gunbuster, and Ghost in the Shell, which two of them I don't even think exist, and one of them is really on my budget, so I might as well just buy something that's like funny with that remaining budget.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, look at that ass, man. Look at that ass. Okay, wildcard. Rias has saved me before. Rias has saved me before in the first gacha special. I'm putting on my. I found it.
So I have 10,000 left roughly. What if I just gacha 10,000? What kind of Nintendo Switch in my day? That's a great idea. You found another bleach figure? Sorry, my assistant's been helping me.
Yeah, they just took it.
Oh my god. You guys sure you saw something? Okay, is cheesy? No, these are my friends. Guys, we go way back. We go way back. I know those guys from college.
Fuck, the aliens are too expensive. I really wanted to get an alien. I just plop it in the middle. I'm kind of debating to sacrifice one of these figures to buy it. I'm sacrificing Oscar for common alien. And I have like 500 yen remaining, so I don't think I can do much with that, so I think I'm done.
Here's a real question. Are Genshin fans thirstier over Mona or Lisa? Battle of the Ages. Who are Genshin fans more thirsty over? Okay, we have 4 points on the scavenger hunt, and the rest of them are within budget, so I think we're ready. Let's go see what my box looks like.
Alright, I think I'm basically done. That's a pretty box. I'm calling it me with the bitches.
This was $50.
I'm sorry, what?
It's $50.
Are you
paying that? Are you crazy? It was one of my challenges. POV, you're as thirsty as an average gacha gamer.
Well then, because you're on yours, do you want to present your box and the points you've received?
So, I got the gacha themed box, and unfortunately, I couldn't actually afford most of the figures for most gacha games. I did get a Genshin figure, which was $50, a Dragon Ball figure, which is $10, a Pokemon figure, and the cheapest Fate figure I could find, which was Saber. I wanted to get a cultured Fate figure, but unfortunately, a lot of the Fate figures here were just, the really, really sexy ones were like over $800. I needed to go for a TV figure. And then aside from that, I saw my girl Rias, and I was like, you know what, I'm getting emotions again from her solo carrying my first playthrough of the first figure special one, so I was like, I gotta get my girl to represent right in the middle again. And then the rest is what your average Genshin Impact player sees when he logs onto Twitter. That's my thing. I actually had a theme for
So how many points did you get without the four? Okay, right. So I have 9 points.
Oh, that's such a hard time. It's so hard to find shonen figures. My balls are tiny.
Let me show you my tiny balls real quick. Right here we have Hitman Reborn, this is $60. Up here we have Soul from Soul Eater with a whopping 28,000 yen, $200. We have Sexy Bleach Lady. We have Hisoka and Crawler from Hunter x Hunter sitting on the beautiful bulge of Killer Queen on the record disc. The Blue Exorcist figure. We have a D Grey Man character figure. We have Naruto talking to Naruto. We have Yu Yu Hakusho. And just for funsies, we have Mori Kalliope just chilling there with Booba. So I think it's a great box, and I think you all agree that it's a great box. The rest of my case. Joey, show your box.
I definitely got the hardest thing because it's all like shows that no one would care about if you're under the age of 40, so I sacrificed an Oscar figure to buy the fucking company.
You're saying this is the best box?
No, it says this is best box.
Oh, sorry, I can't English.
So I got Jigen from Luke the Third. I got a really jank looking fucking Saint Seiya one. This Kenshin one I think was like $120. This Slam Dunk one was also $120. The Doraemon one's 490 yen. This one is fucking 1,000 yen, I think. And then the alien was 8,000 yen.
The Doraemon figure is...
It's so out of place.
We need a microscopic lens.
Can you see that, guys?
You can see the bacteria forming on it. It's larger than the figure.
This is the I got dealt a shit hand I know where it is. Half of them don't even exist.
Yeah, bro, you're fucked.
I was fucked.
How many points did you get total?
6.
6, 4, 9. Vote in chat now who has the best box, the box that you would like to see or would like to purchase from. What's your box left? Makes impression on you.
This poll describes the chat so accurately. This is the exact demographic of chat that I thought. This is the exact demographic of chat.
So John won with a 53% vote. I came second with 38%. Joey came.
That's just the chat, isn't it? That's the demographic of chat. We figured it out. You can't get any more accurate than this.
So the final scores are Joey with 6, me with 9, and Gaunt with 9.
Oh my god, we have another tie?
I don't know what that means, but I guess this figure special ends in a tie.
Also, if you guys are in Japan and you come over to stock, then come over to our boxes, take some pictures, send it to us on Twitter or something.
We hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to the Trash Taste After Dark channel and come watch us on Twitch live sometimes. So thank you so much for watching the Trash Taste mini theater special vibe and everything. Hope you guys have fun with it. Hope you guys enjoyed our back. We'll see you all next week. Bye guys.
People showed up, some of them with tear gas, firecrackers, and balaclavas. They was not coming there to have a good time. That's what I'm saying when I'm saying there's something a little bit sick about some of the people that are showing up. Did you ever think about that? You heard what happened with Kai Cenat?
Yeah, I heard about that thing.
You aren't aware Kai Cenat's probably the largest Twitch streamer at the moment. Very popular, very popular person. And he wanted to do a giveaway in New York. And so essentially in the core of the city. He ended up running the giveaway. Things got out of hand. First, it started off with about 300 fans, and the crowd grew to about 6,000 people. Fans started weaving in and out of traffic, setting off different types of explosive and firecrackers as everything kind of lost control. Police officers were sending in waves of cops. Yeah, this is when they scooped him. Before they arrested him, they just lifted him up. Yeah, I don't care what nobody says. If you under 5'7", you can never let another grown man pick you up like that. It's really got this man in fetus position, being like, you going to jail. Short people fight for your rights. Get arrested with dignity.
Reportedly by 3, it was already packed. But the New York Times reporting that the event was held without a permit, and things quickly got out of hand when the crowd was spilling into the streets, blocking pedestrians and cars. While most in the crowd were seemingly peaceful, some just got out of hand. Where you saw people jumping on cars, banging them, others throwing objects like rocks, fireworks reportedly going off at one point. There's no shortage of photos showing people climbing onto things. Also, Kai was in the crowd at one point, but then had to leave. Local reports saying that he exited in his car as people were literally climbing on top of it as it was moving. At one point, as the chaos is all unfolding, Kai posted about it on his Instagram story, writing that his fans are amazing and telling them to be safe. But also, ahead of this incident, according to the New York Post, he told his followers that they have a tendency to go too wild. And even saying, depending on how rowdy things got, the situation might get shut down quickly. But also telling them, we're gonna go crazy. And so with all this chaos, we saw a slew of arrests being made. And in fact, Kai himself got charged with first-degree rioting, inciting a riot, and unlawful assembly. And that in addition to the NYPD saying that 65 people were arrested, 30 of which were juvenile. Also with that, footage of one of the arrests went viral, with police seemingly grabbing a person and shoving his face into a car window. There were also several other injuries. Also with all that, the injury that's perhaps getting the most attention is that of a 69-year-old food vendor who had his product stolen amid all this, apparently getting hit in the process.
Where did they hit you, sir?
The people getting outraged that this innocent guy just trying to do his job got hurt and caught up in all this. But with that, we saw political commentator Hassan Piker getting some backlash for how he responded. He was discussing this whole thing, and while watching a clip about this vendor, he said,
I fucking despise local media, dude. Local media talking about $3 worth of Doritos. Like, you know, there was a bank run.
Or with many finding it to be a crude and insensitive response.
I pretty saw the old man. It's like an old man gets beaten up, and that was his response.
Response. There was also part of this kind of larger criticism Hassan had of the media's coverage of this, but I'm arguing that it played into the kind of boomer fear-mongering and saying that it was racially biased.
I think Kai being black and his audience being like black as well also will factor into the way that the media covers this. You know what I mean? Because people will immediately be like, oh, this is gang activity. Yeah, they're rowdy. They're rowdy teenagers. They're making it seem like this is an organized crime ring. The one time you see like a bunch of black teenagers around, you're like, oh my God, guys, businesses are being loaded.
So we've also seen other viral posts of people pushing back against the narrative that this is like all racially biased.
I'll save my comments for a little bit. Here's the thing. I think a lot of creators come into a lot of money very quickly and don't know how to manage it, don't know how to act with it. Do I think Kai's going to go to jail? No, I don't think it's charging a mistake. I think they're just doing this because they have to set an example, so they're pushing for it. And I understand why, because I agree. They need to set an example. But here's the fucked up thing. This was, in a lot of ways, really good for Kai and his brand. It gave him so much visibility, free press. I mean, worst comes to worst, he's going to get a slap on the wrist, in my opinion. And he's going to get some of the best press you could ever imagine. People who are mainstream, who've never heard of this guy, now a whole bunch of new people are hearing about him. And so now if he wants to drive money, brand deals, different things like that, he's got a whole new level of pull. So the fucked up thing is, through the destruction of property and all this other shit that's happening, he's actually benefiting his career in a tremendous way. Now, I don't know Kai. He may actually be really sad and devastated by this whole thing and doesn't want this kind of thing. I'm just saying, if I'm like the PR firm or whatever the fuck it is, I'm looking at this like, hey, this is amazing. We were not even intending for it to be this big. And in a lot of ways, it's like been very good for him. So that's the business side of things. The other side of business things is like, if this is not what he intended and this is how it turned out, he needs to fire the PR people or his management or whoever thought it was a good idea to run an event like this, because you should see this kind of thing coming from a mile away. There are certain creators who just can't go out to public spaces and say, all my fans come out, and not expect it to go kind of crazy. You got to get some kind of new management, because there's no reason this should be happening, considering the kind of pull y'all got.
Someone in your management should have said, no, we're not going to do it like that.
Or, yeah, exactly.
Or if you don't have that kind of people, now's the time, because you're at that point. You are, at some point,
yes,
the biggest of something.
Yo, stop meat riding, bro. Stop dick riding, bro. Bro, just because you want a bit of clout, you don't have to be out here giving all these compliments. Just give the meat. Just react. How many more compliments you gonna give this nigga?
I'm do whatever the fuck I want. What is wrong with you?
Go. Pause. Let's go. Nah, bro. I didn't realize today was gonna be meat lovers day. I didn't realize we got salami on the menu. I'm just saying. He was. Oh, hey, you the biggest, the baddest I ever had. Just chill out, bro.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Hey, that's what we all heard. Go ahead, just go ahead. This is like no meat lovers, vegetarian only. Let's go. Go. No,
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Maybe I'm jealous. Did you ever think about that? I'm just saying. My niggas gonna compliment random people, but like, yo, we hit 2 million.
Yo, get the fuck out of here. Stop, man. You need. Oh, shit.
Alright, my bad. So, I'll cut you off. I apologize. Go ahead.
Nah, it's a done now. You stupid.
Nah, but you were saying some real shit. You one of the biggest, baddest I've ever had. Hey, listen. That's where you stopped. You keep going.
All right.
Best I ever had.
You. No, I never said that. You acted like shit.
I even said you. I even said best I ever had. Best I ever had.
Stop. That's you, man. That's not me. But if you're one of the best out there, and of something that is worldwide. Everybody's gonna watch you. You can't just do random stuff like that. You just can't. You're not at that level no more. You left that level a while ago. Okay? You can't just be like, yeah, meet and greet, pop out in the park. It's gonna be crazy. So yeah, what's going on?
Nothing. You got cream on?
I got cocoa butter.
Yeah. So I'm like, yo, why my arm shining? I'm like, yo, this arm not shining. Why is this arm? And then I realized I could.
Yeah.
Hey, there's something here. And it's smooth. Listen, I just took. I'm like, ooh, best I ever had. All this to say, yeah, you know, and I feel like maybe I'm just so lucky I grew up on Spider-Man, but Uncle Ben's, you know, with great responsibility comes great power, always comes back. But a lot of these people don't have a training, they don't have the wherewithal, they don't have the knowledge. Should they know better? I feel like a lot of people think so, and so he's got to hold a lot of culpability for that. But the truth is, a lot of these young kids who, with their charisma and their personality, start drawing in all these viewers. They don't have the people around them set up to be able to make the right decisions, be it financially a lot of the times, or from a business standpoint, or from an event standpoint like this. If you don't have the right people in place, you're just gonna make mistakes. So, do I think he intended for this? No. Do I think some of the videos make him look bad? Absolutely. What kind of beating you getting for this?
Oh, nuclear. Huh?
Stole a truck with the hoping that shit. They all ransacked it. Like, what am I looking at? And this is not on Kai. He didn't make these people do this. They had them in it before any of this shit happened. So I want to make sure the conversation is not just centered on him as an individual, because there's a lot of other people who need to be accountable for their own actions. I mean, on the official channel, there's a video that's just wild. I'm like, if he's going to court, I would play this shit.
Look at this. Look at them. They standing like a in unity, bro.
We gotta get right here.
I think this is a civil right.
That's right now. I bet. So we out. God damn. God damn. God damn.
I don't think none of these people that you see on the videos are PR people.
No. You know what? I'm gonna say something else too, and this is probably where I agree with Jadion. I agree with him on the management thing, but this also too. You know, one thing that's a big part of this story, and people don't like saying it, including Hassan Piker, but it's niggas. That's a part of the story. You know, there's something to be said about the fact that a lot of like young people, and especially black groups, get together, and then it gets this violent, and this rowdy. You got people stealing whole ass food trucks. You got folks robbing old men, running through liquor stores and beating them up. And like, there's a racial component or cultural component to this that's very real that like liberals never want to talk about because it's like, oh no, it's all racist. And then right wingers want to overemphasize like it's the whole story or there's some kind of genetic thing going on there. And it's like, no, but there's some element of like cultural rowdiness to this that is very, I think is present in a lot of teenagers, but is especially present and I think in some black teenagers. And so I think that's a part of the story, but I think people don't like saying it because they don't want to appear whatever it is. But I don't know. Maybe y'all feel differently. What do you think?
I think the way society is designed, it is meant for kids, for urban youth to be that way. Because if you listen to what the music that we listen to and what is pushed out there for us, there's a lot of rowdiness. There's a lot of crazy stuff that they be talking about.
What do you mean? I be playing drill when I'm studying in the library.
Sure.
Yeah, I be in yoga class with drill music. You never heard of yoga drill?
A lot of things that is pushed, a lot of violence, a lot of rowdiness, a lot of riots and stuff like that. They love to push that. They love to push that drug. They love to push that rowdiness, that riot, that stuff like that. They do that. They don't push like positive stuff and things. You know, it's just like the difference between the TikTok that we have here and the TikTok that I have in China, which is where TikTok is from. So I'm not all blaming it on that, but
that's definitely a part of it. Because like, there's a lot of other YouTubers who have big meetups with fans, and you know, a lot of them just didn't get violent. I think Dion brought up Mr. Beast and him running his first chain, and how many people showed up, which was like over 10, 20,000 people, and it was very civil with very little to no issues. You know, so there has to be some element of that we look at, and you know, that a lot of people brought up because you know we talk about the effect of hip hop on the youth and how it's influencing these people, be it with like you know, guns and things like that. And I think there's an element of this that's real, though. That's real. And I don't know, for me, it's sad because there's so many other black youth that were there that were saddened by the fact, you know, I saw some videos of some people saying like, man, this is why we can't enjoy nothing. This is why we can't be having a good time. And it's true, because you'll have groups of people who are hexa rowdy ruining it for the other teenagers who just want to be chill and simple.
It's a bit what happened in Montreal.
Yeah, we've definitely had like waves of this kind of stuff happening. So it's sad because now a bunch of kids got injured. You got people leaving with like complete injuries, bloody faces, going to the hospital, and all this because we just sometimes don't know how to act. There was no reason for this to get violent. There was no reason for this to go crazy. You want to just say it's teenagers, but the truth is this don't happen all the time. Teenagers get together in large groups. So what's causing these kinds of issues? That's a part of the conversation I think is much larger and a different one. But I think it is something that's real. So I just wanted to bring that up. What did you want to say?
No, I never asked him lesson.
Anything else you want to say about Kai and this whole thing?
No, I don't know the dude that much. There's something about like not having a lot of things and stuff for generation. When you see an opportunity to take, you will. And that is what I think. That in common, like just saying it's just niggas. I don't know why. It's a bit. I feel like it's a bit not disingenuous, but it's not the whole story. To just be like it's niggas. Yeah, okay, but you have to understand why. You have to understand where that's from, and you have to take that into account, like where it's from and why it's happening. When you kept people in the, I'm not saying it's just that, and people don't have responsibility in that. They absolutely do. You have to be responsible for your actions. But when you deprive someone and some people and a group of people for so long of things they could do, I think that things like that might happen.
No, there's plenty of other marginalized groups who don't engage in this behavior. Sorry. I'm not going to use the fact that some bad shit happened in the past to say this is something that could happen. No, this happens because there's sick elements in our culture today. It has nothing to do with the past and all that stuff. Well, it's what we encourage these young people doing today.
I think it's one and the other. There's the past, and you sprinkle that. You put 450 in the oven for 20 minutes, and this is what happens. I don't think it's just the thing that happens today, but it's also the things that happened in the past. It's generational. Your parents are gonna speak a certain way because certain things happen to you, and then you go into that, and then there's a stuff that is implemented in your brain right now, socially, that's gonna make you act like that. I think it's a bit of both.
I didn't know where this shit was going. so disappointed.
It was going in her butt. It was going in her butt. It was going in her butt, bro.
I mean, hey, listen.
That's where it was going in her butt.
She got the cheeks for that. Good for her. I just didn't see the color. I don't know, the researcher put this shit in the fucking folder. I didn't know where this shit was going. That was crazy. That legitimately shocked me. I don't know, like, first off, you have to think, there was like 30 niggas whose hands went on that football before she put it between her cheeks. Yeah. God bless her.
Talk about yeet. She yeet that ball. I'm talking about yeast. Bread.
Gideon said a bunch of stuff that I actually agreed with when he covered it. But there's one part that Gideon did that made me laugh. I want to play it for you.
I've been noticing something, like, is it just like me or like, are kids just like different these days, bro? I'm out with my girl last night, right? I saw y'all boys. I was like, yo, Jadeon. And I'm like, yo, I dap all them up. I take a picture with them. There's like a group of 8 or 10 of them, right? Then there was a dude inside of the restaurant. He worked there. And he was like, yo, Jadeon, what's good, my man? I'm like, yo, what's good, Brody? How you doing? And I dap him up. And then, like, he just looks at me and he goes, yo, man, I'm sorry, but I gotta do this. And bro, like, just like reaches for my head and he tries to like take my do-rag off in front of my girl. And I've never met this man a day in my life. And I literally just grab his hand and like, I just like put it back to him. And I'm like, yo, man, we not about to grab people that we don't know like that. And like, Brody was like dumbfounded, like it was bro, I don't know what it is, but like, bro, what is it with people today, bro?
Sorry, I laughed pretty loud when I saw this.
Huh? What do you want me to say about that?
I'm just saying.
We fighting.
I don't even care about that. It's just funny hearing it coming from Gideon. When I see a YouTube prankster,
I didn't know that part. I didn't know that part.
That he pranks people?
I don't know Gideon. But he pranks people?
Yeah. He does good pranks. That's what kills me. He's like, what is it with young people these days? But it's funny because I'm looking at you and a lot of other creators on these platforms and the way that they go about doing stuff, invading other people's space, really concerned about like making their own content. And to be fair to Gideon, he's probably one of the people who does it in a way I really like. But still, you know,
it's like
what was done to you in a lot of ways is what y'all be doing to other people. If not you, it's a lot of the other pranksters y'all be defending. So it's just funny to me. People like, yo, kids, you know, days, but like they're seeing what y'all do and then they're replicating in a lot of ways.
You. I don't know what it is about these kids making all these videos and commenting on them. I don't know what it is. Like they all have opinions and stuff.
Oh, you trying to say that's what you do? True. I was like, yo, people.